Wait till the end, because when you find out who that black boy really was, your heart will stop. If you're watching this, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe right now, because stories like this remind us that the world still judges by color before character. It was one of those hot summer afternoons in Atlanta. The lobby of the Grandstone Hotel sparkled like gold, marble floors, chandeliers, and guests wearing clothes that screamed wealth. Everyone who walked in looked like they belonged there, except him. A young black man stepped in quietly, carrying a worn-out backpack and an old pair of sneakers. His name was Elijah Brown. He was about 20, tall, slim, and had a calm look on his face. But the way the receptionist and her coworkers glanced at him, it was clear they thought he didn't belong. Can we help you?" asked the woman behind the counter, her tone polite but dripping with judgment. "Yes," Elijah said softly. "I'd like to book a suite for the night." The other receptionist, a man with slick hair and too much confidence, chuckled under his breath. "A suite," he repeated. "Sir, are you sure you're in the right place? The motel is 2 blocks down." The woman smiled thinly. "Our suites are quite expensive. You need a minimum balance to even hold a reservation." She emphasized the word balance like it was a word he didn't understand. Elijah didn't react. He simply asked, "How much is the best suite you have?" "The presidential suite," she said, half mocking. $5,000 a night. You need to prove you can cover that before we can even." "I'll take it," Elijah interrupted. "The presidential suite. For 3 nights. The laughter that followed wasn't loud, but it was cruel. One of the bellboys muttered under his breath, "Man probably can't afford a cab ride." Elijah calmly unzipped his backpack. Inside was an old laptop and a phone with a cracked screen. He connected to the Wi-Fi and started typing, his fingers fast, steady, like he was doing something he'd done 1,000 times. "Sir," the receptionist said impatiently, "if you don't have a card, I'll have to ask you to." He handed her a black credit card. The kind reserved for ultra-rich clients. It was a Centurion. The laughter stopped. The man at the counter blinked. "This is an Amex Black Card." "Yeah," Elijah said quietly. "It should work." When the screen flashed transaction approved, the air in the lobby changed. The employees who'd just mocked him now looked like statues. "Would you like a welcome drink, Mr. Brown?" the woman stammered. Elijah smiled. "Water's fine." As he followed the bellboy upstairs, a group of guests who had been watching whispered in disbelief. One of them, a middle-aged man in a gray suit, couldn't resist asking, "Excuse me, sir, what do you do?" Elijah turned his head slightly and said, "I build things that help people." No one understood what he meant. That night, in the most luxurious suite of the Grandstone Hotel, Elijah stood on the balcony overlooking the city. His phone buzzed. It was his assistant. "Elijah, we just hit 2 million users," she said, her voice trembling with excitement. He smiled. "Good. That means the app's working." The app was called Balance, a free mental health and budgeting platform designed to help underprivileged families manage stress and money. It had been inspired by his own past, a childhood where his mother cried over bills while he studied by candlelight. Now, Elijah was the youngest self-made tech millionaire in Georgia. But he didn't dress like it. He didn't flaunt it. He preferred peace over attention, humility over luxury. Still, he couldn't forget how easily people looked down on him that afternoon. The next morning, the hotel's general manager, Mr. Whitman, personally came to the suite, red-faced and nervous. "Mr. Brown," he said, "I heard there was a misunderstanding yesterday. My deepest apologies. You see, my staff didn't realize." Elijah looked up from his laptop. "Didn't realize what?" "That you're, a very important person," Whitman said, fumbling for words. Elijah chuckled. "So if I wasn't important, disrespect would be okay." Whitman froze. "I didn't come here to be treated like royalty," Elijah continued. "I came here like any guest, to rest. But your staff didn't see a guest. They saw a stereotype." Whitman swallowed hard. "You're absolutely right, sir. I assure you, they'll face consequences." "Don't fire them," Elijah said calmly. Teach them. Yes, I'd like to host a small event here tomorrow, free for your staff. I'll cover all costs. Just make sure they attend." Whitman agreed immediately, thinking it was just some kind of motivational talk. But what happened the next day would change the hotel forever. The ballroom was full, hotel staff, servers, and clerks sitting nervously in chairs, wondering why the guest they mocked wanted to talk to them. Elijah walked in wearing a simple gray hoodie and jeans. No expensive suit. No entourage. Just him. "Good morning," he began softly. "My name is Elijah Brown. Yesterday, you saw me as just another broke kid. But what you didn't see was the story behind me." He paused. "I grew up in a neighborhood where people didn't believe we'd ever leave. My mom worked 3 jobs. I had 1 pair of shoes through high school. I got laughed at, too. But what kept me going was balance, emotional and financial. I promised myself I'd help others find that balance, too." He projected his app on the big screen, showing stories of single mothers, students, and veterans who'd used it to rebuild their lives. "I created balance so people who can't afford therapy or financial coaching can still find hope. It's free, forever. Funded by me and others who once had nothing." The room was silent. "I don't care that you judged me," Elijah said, looking directly at the receptionist who'd laughed first. "I care that you learn from it. Because the next time someone walks in here, who doesn't look like money, remember that value isn't always visible." The woman's eyes filled with tears. I'm so sorry, Mr. Brown." He nodded gently. "Don't be sorry. Be better." When he finished, the staff stood and applauded. Some cried. Even Whitman had tears in his eyes. Before leaving, Elijah turned and smiled. "Now, about that suite. Donate the cost of my stay to your local youth shelter. They need it more than I do." That night, news of the event went viral. Tech millionaire teaches hotel staff a lesson in humanity. Videos of Elijah's speech spread across social media. Millions of people watched as he reminded the world that kindness costs nothing, but judgment can cost everything. The same receptionist who had mocked him later shared her story online. She wrote, "He didn't humiliate us. He healed us. I'll never look at anyone the same again." And as the camera pans out, if you're still watching this, remember this moment. Don't judge the next person by their shoes, skin, or silence. You never know whose story is waiting to teach you something powerful. And if this story touched your heart, hit that like button right now, share it with someone who needs the reminder, and subscribe for more stories that prove humanity still has hope. Because one small act of respect can change everything.